Ladies and gentlemen, in a world full of noise, reactions, and endless opinions, there's a hidden power most people underestimate: the power of observation in silence. See everything. Say nothing is not about cowardice, it's about wisdom. It's about knowing that not every truth needs a voice, not every mistake needs a spotlight, and not every battle needs a warrior. There is strength in silence, especially in a world that screams for attention. When you choose to observe rather than react, you begin to understand. You see patterns, you notice intentions, and you begin to discern between noise and value. The loudest person in the room may not be the wisest, and the silent one is often seeing the clearest. See everything. Say nothing is the mindset of thinkers, leaders, survivors, and wise observers. It's how you protect your peace, your energy, and your purpose. The world teaches us to respond, to argue, to express every emotion, but wisdom whispers, you don't need to. Sometimes your silence is your power. Your observation is your weapon. Your patience is your armor. So, watch the world. Understand it, but don't waste your voice where it won't be valued. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you didn't notice. Let them believe you don't care. Because when it's time, you'll act, not speak. And your actions will echo louder than their noise ever could. Choosing not to speak in certain moments doesn't mean you're weak or uninformed. It means you have self-control, patience, and strategic insight. Strength often lies in restraint, not reaction. When you see everything but hold your tongue, you begin to understand more than most. You recognize patterns, motives, and truths that emotional or impulsive people overlook. Silence sharpens awareness. Sometimes telling the truth can do more harm than good. Timing and context matter. Discretion is a form of intelligence. Speaking only when it brings value is a true mark of maturity. You lack of maturity. Decent. Arguing or responding to negativity drains your mental strength. By staying silent, you preserve your inner peace and avoid unnecessary conflict or stress. When people think you're not aware or not capable because you don't react, you gain an unexpected edge. You become unpredictable, and that's a powerful position to be in. People reveal their true selves when they think you're not paying attention. By simply listening, you gain deep insights into character, intention, and emotion. Listening gives you information. Reacting loses it. Silent observers often make the most calculated and impactful moves. Words fade, but actions leave marks. Wait for the right moment, and when you strike, let it be through deeds, not debates. The world often pressures us to explain, justify, or defend ourselves. But remember, silence is your right. You don't have to answer every question, reply to every insult, or react to every challenge. Peace is more precious than proving a point. In a society where people often equate loudness with confidence and opinion with intelligence, choosing silence can be mistaken for weakness. But silence, true, intentional silence, is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess. It's the calm in the chaos, the stillness in the storm. When you stay silent, especially when provoked, you are not surrendering. You are mastering yourself. It takes far more discipline to remain quiet in the face of disrespect, misunderstanding, or conflict than it does to lash out with words. Most people react immediately without thinking, without analyzing, and without awareness. But those who can remain composed and silent in heated situations show that they have control over their emotions rather than being controlled by them. Silence doesn't mean you're ignoring reality. It means you're assessing it. You're choosing to respond with clarity instead of confusion. You're thinking 3 steps ahead, not being dragged into petty arguments or meaningless drama. In silence, you conserve your energy. You maintain your dignity. You demonstrate that you are above the noise, the gossip, the conflict, and the games. People may try to provoke you, insult you, or test you, but your silence sends a louder message than any reply ever could. It says, I see what's happening, and I choose not to give it my power. This kind of restraint is not easy. It takes self-respect, confidence, and emotional intelligence. It shows you are not impulsive, but intentional. It reveals that you have inner strength that doesn't need external validation or applause. And that strength, that quiet power, is what separates leaders from followers, thinkers from reactors, and the wise from the loud in a fast-paced world where everyone is rushing to speak, react, and be heard. Few people take the time to quietly observe. Yet it is through careful observation that true wisdom is born. When you choose to see everything and say nothing, you give yourself the priceless gift of insight. You're not distracted by your own need to respond. You're fully present, absorbing, analyzing, and learning. Observation is more than just watching. It's understanding the meaning behind what you see. It's noticing the unspoken words, the micro expressions, the body language, the hesitations, and the contradictions. It's recognizing patterns in behavior, identifying motives, and seeing through appearances to the reality underneath. While others are busy reacting, the observer is gathering information, building awareness, and preparing for deeper understanding. People often reveal more than they realize when they think no one is truly paying attention. Their actions, choices, and subtle habits tell a clearer story than their words ever could. And the silent observer becomes the quiet collector of truths. You begin to understand who is genuine and who wears a mask. You see opportunities others miss and dangers others ignore. You identify manipulation, deceit, and intention, not through confrontation, but through reflection. This ability to watch without rushing to judgment or reaction becomes your silent advantage. It gives you clarity in moments when others are confused. It allows you to navigate life with discernment, make smarter decisions, and protect yourself from traps and illusions. You're not swayed by temporary emotions or surface-level impressions because you've trained yourself to go deeper, to look beyond the noise and into the essence of situations and people. Observation shapes wisdom because it builds perspective, and perspective is the foundation of understanding. There's a powerful maturity in knowing the truth, but choosing silence. While many people believe that truth must always be expressed, the wise understand that timing, context, and consequence matter deeply. Not every truth improves a situation. Not every fact heals. So sometimes truth, if delivered at the wrong moment to the wrong person or in the wrong tone, can cause more harm than good. Knowing when to speak is just as important as knowing what to say. It's easy to speak your mind, to unload your thoughts and feelings in the name of honesty. But real wisdom lies in discernment, knowing when your words will build and when they might destroy. Silence in this context is not deception, it is discipline. You are not hiding the truth, you are honoring it by treating it with care. Truth without compassion, without purpose, or without strategy is just noise. It may feel satisfying in the moment, but it often leads to regret, broken relationships, or unnecessary conflict. There are times in life when you will see things clearly, flaws in others, errors in judgment, injustice, hypocrisy. But rushing to point them out can create more resistance than resolution. People aren't always ready to hear the truth, and forcing it upon them can backfire. In some cases, silence becomes the more powerful tool because it gives space for self-realization. Sometimes letting people discover the truth on their own is more impactful than confronting them with it directly. Also, preserving relationships, your inner peace, or your long-term goals often requires withholding certain truths temporarily or choosing a more thoughtful way to express them later. Speaking every truth the moment you feel it doesn't make you brave. It can make you reckless. The art of restraint, of choosing silence over impulse, reflects not only emotional intelligence, but a deep understanding of the complexities of human behavior. In a world overflowing with noise, drama, and endless conversations, many of which are meaningless or toxic, your silence becomes a sanctuary. Protecting your energy is essential to mental, emotional, and even physical well-being, and one of the most powerful tools to do that is silence. You don't need to involve yourself in every discussion, respond to every criticism, or defend your every move. Choosing silence is not surrender. It's preservation. It's an intentional decision to prioritize your peace over pointless debates and emotional exhaustion. Every time you speak, engage, or react, you are spending energy. Just like money, your energy is a currency. And just as you wouldn't give your money to anything that doesn't serve you, you shouldn't give your energy to situations that drain you or people who thrive on creating chaos. Silence gives you control. It allows you to pause, recharge, and maintain balance in a world that often demands your constant reaction. There will be moments when people try to drag you into arguments, provoke you with their negativity, or manipulate you into justifying yourself. But your silence creates a barrier. It says, I'm not here to entertain this. I value myself too much. It protects you from being consumed by other people's emotional instability or drama, especially when their only goal is to see you lose your composure. By staying silent, you maintain your emotional boundaries. You're not absorbing every opinion, not internalizing every insult, and not reacting to every small offense. You keep your spirit intact. You remain grounded. And while others exhaust themselves in the noise of defensiveness or conflict, you conserve your strength and focus it on what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, and your inner harmony. Silence also gives you time to process before responding, if a response is even needed. Instead of reacting impulsively and risking regret, you give yourself space to understand the full picture. You step back, reflect, and respond, if at all, from a place of wisdom rather than emotion. In doing so, you protect your energy from being scattered and instead direct it towards something constructive and meaningful. In a world obsessed with appearances, boasting, and constant self-promotion, silence can lead others to underestimate you, and that can be one of your greatest strategic advantages. When you choose not to reveal everything you know, when you don't constantly announce your plans or showcase your strengths, you become a mystery, and in mystery there is power. Being underestimated allows you to move in silence, grow in the dark, and strike when no one sees it coming. People often judge others based on how loud, confident, or visible they are. If you're quiet, observant, and reserved, many may assume you lack ambition, intelligence, or ability. They may overlook you, ignore you, or even doubt your potential. Let them. Because while they're busy forming shallow conclusions, you're busy preparing, learning, planning, and mastering your craft. Their doubt becomes your shield. Their ignorance becomes your cover. This underestimation gives you space to make mistakes without harsh scrutiny, to develop without pressure, and to grow at your own pace. It removes the spotlight so you can focus on progress, not performance. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Instead, you build silently and let your results do the talking. And when you finally reveal what you've been working on, whether it's a personal transformation, a career breakthrough, or a powerful decision, your impact hits harder because it was unexpected. Moreover, when people don't see you as a threat or don't anticipate your next move, you gain the freedom to maneuver in ways they can't predict. You're not playing on their terms, you're writing your own rules. And in doing so, you maintain control of your narrative. You get to choose when to speak, when to act, and when to stay hidden. That unpredictability is power. Being underestimated allows you to observe without being observed, to influence without being obvious, and to lead without shouting. It's a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. It's the art of staying 10 steps ahead while appearing 3 steps behind. It's the brilliance of working in silence, allowing your success to be both the revelation and the revenge. In today's fast-moving world, people are often too eager to talk and too impatient to listen. Everyone wants to be heard, but few take the time to truly hear others. That's what makes listening a rare and powerful skill, almost a superpower. When you choose to see everything and say nothing, you create space to listen not only with your ears, but with your full awareness. And in that space, you gather information, insight, and understanding that most people overlook. Listening goes far beyond hearing words. It involves paying attention to what's not being said, The pauses, the shifts in tone, the contradictions between language and behavior. It's about picking up on emotions, hesitations, subtle cues, and hidden intentions. People reveal more about themselves when they feel no one is judging or interrupting them. When you remain quiet and allow them to speak freely, they expose their values, insecurities, beliefs, and even their weaknesses. You learn who they really are, not who they pretend to be. This kind of listening gives you an advantage in every area of life: relationships, leadership, business, and personal growth. You begin to see patterns in how people behave, what motivates them, and where they're coming from. You can anticipate needs, recognize manipulation, and make better decisions because you're informed by reality, not assumption. In silence, you're absorbing information like a sponge while others are leaking it through careless words. Also, listening builds empathy. When you stop trying to respond and start trying to understand, you connect on a deeper level. You become someone others feel safe around, someone they trust, someone whose silence makes them feel heard more than anyone else's words. That's a rare and respected presence. And as you listen more, you talk less. But when you do speak, your words carry more weight. Because people know you speak with insight, not impulse. They sense that your silence has depth and your speech has purpose. Your ability to listen silently becomes a form of quiet intelligence, a signal that you are not just present, but deeply aware. In a world where words are endlessly shared, through conversations, comments, speeches, and posts, action is becoming the rarest form of communication. But while words can inspire or influence in the short term, it is action that builds legacy, commands respect, and produces real change. When you choose to see everything and say nothing, you position yourself to act with purpose instead of getting lost in talk. You stop wasting your energy on trying to convince others and instead invest it in proving through results. Words are easy. Talking about goals, dreams, plans, or opinions requires no real effort or courage. Many people talk about success, growth, transformation, but few move with quiet consistency toward it. Choosing action over words means you let your behavior speak for you. You don't tell the world what you're about to do. You show them when it's already done. You don't argue to win opinions. You build something undeniable. That's power. Actions also bring clarity. While words can be misinterpreted or doubted, action is hard to ignore. It's tangible. It's real. It shows where your priorities lie and what you truly believe in. You begin to inspire not through speeches, but through discipline. Discipline. You influence not by demanding attention, but by silently leading through effort, commitment, and results. Moreover, when you choose action, you create momentum. Every small step forward builds confidence. You don't waste time defending your worth or proving yourself in conversations. You build a track record that speaks for itself. You become unstoppable because you're focused on progress, not praise, not praise. You stop reacting to critics or doubters because their words mean nothing when your results are louder than their opinions. Action also protects your vision. When you talk too much about what you're planning to do, you open the door to external doubt, resistance, or even sabotage. But when you move quietly, your path remains yours alone. You shield your goals from unnecessary judgment, and you give yourself the freedom to grow in peace. By the time the world notices what you've built, it's already too solid to tear down. One of the most liberating truths in life is this: you are not obligated to respond to everything and everyone. The world often pressures us to explain ourselves, to defend our choices, to clarify our silence. But the truth is, you are not accountable to every voice that calls your name. Your time, energy, and peace are not public property. Choosing not to respond is not avoidance. It is protection, self-respect, and a clear boundary against unnecessary chaos. In today's hyper-connected age, people expect instant replies, explanations for every move, and answers to every question. But constantly responding, especially to those who are not genuinely seeking understanding, becomes a mental trap. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every insult needs a defense. Not every opinion about you is your business to fix or fight. When you respond to everything, you allow yourself to be emotionally pulled in all directions, draining your focus and disturbing your inner calm. Choosing silence in those moments is a powerful form of self-control. It shows that you are not driven by the need to be understood, liked, or validated. It shows that you are confident enough in your truth to not need approval for it. People may misinterpret your silence. They may criticize you for not reacting, but that only reveals more about them than it does about you. Your refusal to engage in meaningless debates or emotional traps is not weakness. It's wisdom. This mindset helps you reclaim your mental space. You start to differentiate between conversations that matter and those that are just distractions. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop reacting to situations designed to provoke you. Instead, you redirect your energy to what actually deserves it: your purpose, your growth, your peace. By staying silent, you protect your power from being scattered across battles that don't matter. So, in a world where everyone rushes to speak, where reactions are mistaken for strength and silence for weakness, choose differently. Choose differently. Choose to see everything with eyes wide open, but speak only when it serves purpose. Let your stillness be misunderstood, let your silence be underestimated. Because true power doesn't scream, it watches, it waits, and then it moves with precision. Be the one who doesn't need to announce their presence, because their energy speaks for them. Be the one who listens more than they speak, thinks before they respond, and acts with intention, not impulse. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to fight every battle to prove your worth. And you don't owe your voice to every situation. See everything, say nothing, and let your actions echo louder than words ever will. Because real strength doesn't react, it reflects, reserves, and then rises.